Hi everyone, and welcome to OK Seriously with Natasha, a show specifically created to be an open platform where anything goes. I am your host, Natasha Jamieson. This is my passion, and I hope that I inspire you to live your own. We have a special show for you today as I welcome peak performance and relationship coach, Ivy Marie. She is here to share with us how amplifying and radiating your best self can help you live your best life, breaking through to the next level. We will be discussing how blocks and negative patterns sabotage us, and how feeling worthy and good enough helps us break free. Most importantly, how to find the relationship you want and deserve by becoming a love magnet. Ivy, welcome to the show. Sometimes the path chooses us by our personal experiences that navigate us. So clearly, you had some incredible things and experiences that were very traumatic to you to help you pave the road. So how were you interested? How did you become interested in becoming like this love magnet coach and, relationship coach and coach of every kind, basically?
Yes. Well, do you mean like the overall path?
Yes. How did you find it? How did it find you?
I think in essence, I've always been a seeker.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I've always been interested in personal development. Like I remember finding my first, you move a couple of times and you dig up some old books. And since I was a teenager, I was reading like Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Sure.
And yeah, so it's always been, and I think from being in a competitive environment in the corporate world and then being in fitness for a while, like I've always been so passionate about becoming your best self, not just from the physical side, but also from your inner world as well.
Yeah. But from more of a relationship standpoint, did you have some experiences that kind of navigated you through that path?
Yeah, it was
to open the doors?
Yeah.
Sometimes through pain, there's, opportunities to help and heal others.
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. I mean, I went through a devastating breakup. Mm-hmm. I was 37 when I met my husband, so we weren't exactly young. And from that experience, when everything was shattered to pieces, my ex-boyfriend at the time was unfaithful to me. And I looked at my life and I was like, wow, Ivy, you failed again. Oh. Like my daughter was 14 at the time, and it was completely devastating. And I could either make the choice of going down the dark spiral or to lift myself up. So when my life was shattered into pieces, I did not know who I was anymore. I was completely deceived. The life that I was living was a lie. Right. And that I got to recreate myself. But it didn't come without accepting myself for where I was at that time.
Acceptance.
Yeah, self-acceptance. Yes. So in that moment, I realized that I didn't love myself, that I actually hated myself.
Oh, that's so sad. Actually, it's making me feel reactive because I hear that so often.
Yeah, it's very common. And then, but we don't know it. We don't know it because we live this facade of confidence.
No.
Right? And it works for us. Yeah. It makes us survive. It makes us thrive in the workplace, around our friends and family and coworkers. Yeah. But deep down, we go home in that dark space.
Yeah. Survival mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Survival mode. So what are some of the hidden blocks that people may not be aware of when it comes to relationships and not finding love? They're not aware of it. Sometimes it takes another source to say, hey, look, I'm watching you kind of go through this. And we're going to talk about the difference between like self-sabotage and blocking and like negative patterns, but we're specifically more for blocking love from people.
So I think that a lot of the times that we take our past experiences and then we paint the whole world with that same brush. So we're taught that whatever happened to us in the past, we're to learn from the past and to use that experience and using the past to decide what our future is.
Right.
But in the personal development world, it's no. Whatever happened in the past stays in the past, and you get to decide day by day, moment by moment, how it's going to be, regardless of what evidence you collected. So it really goes against how we're wired.
Yes, absolutely.
Because our brain does have an evidence bias or confirmation bias, and we are wired to know that, there's a cliff around the corner, so don't walk there again. Or there's a bear coming out of that cave, don't walk there again. That works in the wild.
Right. Yes. Like for survival. Yeah, absolutely.
It does not work in relationships,
no.
right? It does not at all. Like just because one person did something to you doesn't mean that
every single person
is going
every
to do
single
that.
Man
or else I wouldn't
woman.
have met my husband when I did. I met him 6 weeks after.
Wow.
That devastating relationship, and it's been 13 years. So I had taken that past experience and let it define me moving forward, I wouldn't be where I was today.
So that would be like your block, your kind of self-dialogue of nonstop thinking that things have like a certain, outline, a certain coincidence, a certain consequence.
Yeah, and that's the reason why you should be, well, I was raised this way, or this happened to me, so therefore I'm going to do it this way.
That's right.
Right? It's taking the past and bringing it into your present and future.
And that never serves anybody.
No.
Never serves anybody. It just keeps you stuck.
Yes.
In a very uncomfortable,
and again, it's so contrary to what we're taught.
Absolutely.
It's so contrary to how we're hardwired physiologically. Yeah. So it's not a natural thing.
It's work.
It's work.
It's a lot of work.
That's
where you come in to help us all. Yeah. In what way can we go deep and heal before we decide that we're ready for a relationship? I know healing looks so different to different people. Like it's just different for everybody. So how can we, and why is it important?
I think the first, for me, so I use a variety of tools, and that's what makes my program very, very unique, is that I use several tools, from hypnotherapy to feng shui to checking out your environment to just to embodiment tools as well, mindfulness, meditation. So I'm actually very big on meditation and hypnotherapy, because they are states in which we're able to, again, get back and recreate and suggest to ourselves a new behavior, a new way of being, which is, again, contrary to what no one ever teaches us, that we need to unlearn things. Yeah. We're always in that mode where we're always inputting, like give us more information. But sometimes you have to unlearn what we've already know, what we think we know.
Yes, it's not what serving we think us. We know, exactly.
If you don't have the results now.
No, you're not, it's crazy doing the same thing and expecting something very, very different to come out. So when you're in that meditative state or hypnotic state, do you take them through whatever that experience was to be able to kind of like find another path and to resolve it and to be able to channel something different? Or do you kind of put that aside? You almost like surrender it?
It depends, again, because everybody, and again, it's knowing your client, knowing where they come from. And sometimes they have unresolved trauma. That's right. That they don't actually want to deal with. So it's whatever the client is prepared to do. Okay. But there has to be a level of wanting to do the deep work. Yes. There has to be a level of courage.
Absolutely, yes.
Right? It takes courage. It's a lot. It's a big, brave step in going back into your past and finding out when was the first time you learned rejection, when was the first time you learned abandonment. All of these core root causes are self-sabotaging beliefs and programming that take us into our day-to-day life, and we don't know it. We don't know it, and a lot of people don't even know how they self-sabotage. That's my next question. What have you experienced, like some of like the different things that our viewers can observe and hear us like having a discussion? Maybe they can see themselves and change it. What are some of the self-sabotaging techniques that you've seen? One is probably picking fights with your partner, right? Or really finding yourself triggered. So whenever you find yourself triggered, whenever somebody really ticks you off, see if it's the same issue. So most of the time people do know it. They're like, oh, I hate it when he does this. Or whenever someone does this, I react this way. So that automatically is a trigger point or an activation point. So then you have to take the next layer back. Well, why does it? Right, you have to ask yourself that question. Yeah, so instead of blaming or complaining or finger pointing, the next step is to get curious and turning the question to yourself. Get curious and ask yourself the question, well, why did this trigger me? Why does it bother me? Yeah. Not why did why is it triggering and hurting me? Why? Yes, not what they do. Not external. Yes, not external. Once you're pointing the finger outward, it's in the wrong place. Exactly. So this is where, again, self-awareness is key, and it's not always pretty. It's not pretty. It's really hard. It can be super painful. And most people don't want to do it because who wants to sit there and be the villain in the story, right? Yeah, because everyone sort of glamorizes the awakening, right? Or the enlightenment, period, like Eckhart Tolle. But nobody realizes that Eckhart Tolle. You're in the trenches. You're doing the work. He spent years on a park bench, like nearly homeless, before he got his awakening. Yes. And no one everyone forgets about that. Everyone sees him as this big spiritual guru, but they don't see that he lost everything to get there. Yes. And I'm not saying it has to necessarily be traumatic, and that's what I always ask for whenever I'm seeking something. I'm like, please let this lesson, or what do I need to learn, and please have it come to me joyously. Yeah. Because it doesn't always come with joy. Absolutely. That's that's life. That is life. And the second that you can understand that,
you're already in flow. You're in acceptance.
You're in acceptance and you're in surrender
already.
and faith. Yeah.
Huge. We're doing it. We're aligning, people. I'm feeling the vibes. And in what way can we resolve a breakthrough that's deep-rooted, negative patterns? So now we're talking about the negative patterns. So just doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't matter who the person is, the situation is, but playing that same situation again. What can we do to shift that?
I think, well, this is the thing, right? If something keeps recurring in your life, and you're not willing to take a step back and take an honest look at that, a raw and honest look, it's going to keep recurring. So there's that 80-20 rule. 80% of what we do is a result of 20% of subconscious patterns, whether it's habits or things that we don't do, but we're aware of. We're running on the 20% of habit forming, pattern forming, and that is resulting of 80% of the results we get. So
20%.
it's in the micro things that we don't aware of. So how do we know? I mean, sometimes we don't.
A lot of people don't. They don't. They're like, I don't know why this happened. I don't know why this keeps happening. I don't know why. But other people that are watching it, friends, people that care about you, they can see it.
They can see it.
But the people that are actually experiencing it, that's the painful part. They're not aware of it. So awareness is huge. Being able to be honest and open with yourself.
Yes, and sometimes it does take a rude awakening. Sometimes it does take, a big shattering moment. And it's not pretty. No. But just having that faith and knowing that, and I really believe that everything happens for a reason.
It does.
And not even so much as that fakeness, but every event in your life, there's a lesson to be learned.
Absolutely.
And to rise up from it.
Yeah. Even if it's very, very dark and hard, there was a reason why it was brought into your life.
Yeah.
For sure. How can we find the meaningful relationship by establishing certain boundaries and expectations? So let's say you're doing the work and now you're into the, mindfulness of I need to establish boundaries. Tell us about that.
I think when it comes to boundaries, it's first of all, knowing what you value. Knowing because people think that, I should, and the thing is with women, we can get into a whole big topic here, but the thing is with women is that we're taught to people please.
Yes.
We're taught to be the good girl. We're taught that we're the ones to serve. We're the ones to please. So it's very hard to really establish your own personal values. And
feel guilty.
Guilt, shame, all of that, right? All the cultural biases that we go through. So the thing is when it comes to, and women, this is why I only work with women, because we're the ones with the most cultural conditioning. But being able to step back and reprogram yourself really brings you back into your power.
Yes.
To know that it doesn't matter what your brother or father or mother
think
or your grandmother thinks. I mean, we're actually repeating programming and patterns from our lineage and our cultures. And it doesn't serve us.
No,
right?
It never serves us. It actually can bring us back and just bring quite a bit more pain and unnecessary suffering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It will keep you stuck in such a terrible state that you just keep repeating the negative patterns and create blocks for yourself.
And then you're passing it on.
And then you can't be a magnetic source of love. No. So can we talk about what it means to be in a toxic relationship or toxic person? I talk to a lot of people. And I can tell you that a lot of people do not understand it. They don't know what to look for. They're confused. They don't even know if they're in it. They don't know. Can we just talk about that?
Yeah. So first of all, some toxic people are slick.
Yes.
So I think the first element of knowing that you're in a toxic relationship and deciding that you're going to leave it is self-forgiveness. Because the first thing that somebody does, and the thing is toxic people prey on, they most likely can be involved with somebody who is a people pleaser, somebody who's very empathetic.
That's right.
Somebody who is a giver.
Compassion.
Right? Yeah. So they can actually take advantage of that. So it's very hard for that compassionate, empathetic person to actually leave this relationship.
Yes.
Right? So again, it's really there's a whole element of self-care, but self-care isn't
self-love.
Self-care is not self-love.
Yeah, that's another big one that people are not.
Right? Yeah, so it's understanding and having a deep level of respect for yourself and knowing what it is that you're willing to deal with.
Right.
Right? And it's hard, again, when we're taught to please other people all the time.
Small steps, little boundaries, and then you build on it. That's where you start. If you've never set boundaries, And if you've never been in that situation, you start small. You just start from where you are and you just build.
Yeah, and I
and
think
then you do
that
things for yourself and you work on your inner self to build yourself up, your self-love and respect. Let me ask you this. When a relationship doesn't work out, and we just touched on this a little bit, most of us feel humiliated, guilty. We blame ourselves. How, if we're in it right now, of our viewers, somebody's in a relationship like this, and this is what they're feeling, what can they do like immediately after watching our show, just to really create that shift, that beginning?
I think the first thing, and I have actually never been much of a journaler. I used to, I could journal my workouts. I could journal from coming from the fitness world years and years ago. I could journal what I ate that day, but to actually journal my emotions is not an easy thing to do. So what I did after, my unfaithful boyfriend was I actually wrote a list of, I don't know what overcame me, but I wrote a list of everything she had that I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
And I put it on a piece of paper and I looked at that list and I was like, wow, Ivy, do you hate yourself? Like, you freaking hate yourself. Why did you?
It was right there staring at you.
Yes, it's like, I can't believe I did all of this to me. I pointed everything that she had and I didn't. And again, it was self-flagellating. So in that moment, I realized that I did not love myself. But unless I actually put it on paper and I was able to step back, observe.
And be shocked.
And you kind of disassociate yourself in that moment. So it's a really good thing.
Yeah,
so you impart that knowledge on a piece of paper and you're realizing, wow, I don't like myself. Mm-hmm. But in that moment, it led to self-acceptance, which leads to self-forgiveness, which leads to a new renewal.
Yeah. Which that's the whole point of all of this, to be able to get to the
journaling
space.
Everything. If you're in
I gotta tell you, I'm not a journaler. Charlotte's gonna watch this and she's gonna say, oh my god, not again. I had another one of my episodes, Charlotte Conter, she was on my show and she was telling me, Natasha, you need to journal. I just don't journal. I can't do it. I can't even journal my food. I don't know what it is. Point form.
It's not like, again, we're so hard on ourselves just to journal.
It's killing me. I'm sure there's some people like me out there. Yes. I can't be alone.
No, just point form is fine.
Point form.
Everyone just point form. Start with bullet point.
Bullet points.
Sticky notes.
I like it. And just go from there.
Yeah, just go from there. No need to write. I'm not talking writing a novel.
Chapters.
No, just write it in bullet points. That's it. That's the start.
It'll just give you a mirror. And like you said, disconnect you emotionally.
And then removing it from your body, which is another principle that I do. Absolutely. Being able to remove things from your body.
Yeah, that's a huge factor because you can do all the work, but if it's still there, you're not healed yet.
It's not going anywhere, yeah.
You need to feel it to heal it. So I took a poll on social media and I have some questions from our viewers. Are you open to answering a few? So the first one is, how can you instantly spot a player? Someone that doesn't have your best intentions. We'll just leave it like that.
Again, I think, and I know the uber feminists are going to hate me, but when it comes to men, you'll know if he's into you. There is, and it's really calling in your queen energy.
Like the vibe, you feel the vibe, the energy.
No, it's you being the queen. It's like, do you think a queen waits around waiting for a guy to call her?
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Do you think a queen looks at her phone 5 times a day?
She's the queen.
Yes.
She's not looking.
She's
the queen. They have to come to her.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, and if you find yourself chasing, if you find yourself checking if he texted you, if you find yourself wondering what to say next or what he's going to do next.
Your queen energy, I'm saying.
No, yes. Then.
So it all starts with you.
Yes, it's a spot. You don't need to spot a player. Like this is again going back to what we're. Yeah. Because I don't believe in chasing at all.
No.
Right. Yeah. It's you being who you are, your best self, being your most secure and inner confident self. Mm-hmm. And everything comes to you.
That's right.
It's not you chasing and looking out for it.
Right.
So you shouldn't even...
So everything comes to you. You don't need to chase it.
No, because you're not playing a game.
No. You're just living your authentic, true self and having that love and respect. So the next one was, how can they become magnetically drawn, like draw in a magnetic, loving relationship? How can they do that? How can they be magnetic?
Well, this goes back again to that cliche that love is the most powerful energy. Mm-hmm. And it is like it's magnetic, it's very highly attracting, but the thing is that you have to embody love.
Yes.
And the first thing that I do, and again, this goes with the peak performance side of things,
absolutely,
is doing what you love. First and foremost.
Doing what you love.
Yes, and then going back to the good girl pleaser person, which many of us are conditioned to be, is that we're always doing what other people want to do, is giving up our own desires, or our own joy.
Yeah.
So when I coach women, especially going on the first date, or the third, not even the first date, but the second or third date, you should be initiating things that you like to do.
Right.
So if it's tennis, if it's going for a hike, if it's do the things that you love, because then your best self comes out in those moments.
Yeah. Well, you vibrate differently at that point.
Yes.
Because you are doing what you love. You're putting yourself on the list first.
Yeah, it's like going to a bar and you don't drink. Going to a rock bar, and you don't like rock music.
No.
Go somewhere where, if you like salsa dancing, and that also goes to see if he's willing to step into the things that you love to do.
So
when you're doing what you love, you're radiating your own love and inner joy.
I'm so glad that you say that, because I hear it time and time again where everybody's just, but I do everything for him. And it doesn't work like that. I'm thinking of somebody very specific, which I will not mention. And she just says to me, but I love him. And I go, baby, you got to love you more than you ever love him. You first.
Yes. And he will love you for you.
And then when you're so powerful in your authenticity, in yourself, and you have self-respect, they will be drawn to you more.
Yeah.
Or not. There's somebody better.
Yeah.
Because the universe will give you something better. Exactly. So why is it so important to start from a positive and clear foundation before dating, finding someone special so you're ready?
So this is the thing that I also, and I guess it's something to do with the self-development role, is that we have to be healed, we have to really know ourselves.
Sure.
Well, knowing ourselves and healing is a lifelong journey.
Absolutely.
So are you going to wait?
No. You'll run out of time.
You're never going.
No.
I hate to break it to you, but you're never going to be healed 100%.
That's right.
So when I was actually calling in my husband, and I went through the exercise of the manifestation process and really powerfully calling in my next relationship, was that one of the top things on my list was that I needed a compassionate person.
Yes.
But why compassion? Because I knew I was still kind of broken.
Oh, yeah.
So in order for someone to be with me, they would have to deal with my AKA brokenness.
Yes.
And I actually called in a very, very super compassionate person. Oh. And the funny thing is, he is actually coming from a relationship too with the same event.
Really?
So
you aligned.
Yes, we knew exactly what each other's emotions.
Goodness.
We knew our insecurities. We knew our fears. We understood all of that.
Everything was on the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was no hiding. There was no judgment. There was no judgment. Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you ultimately want.
So it's don't wait. Don't people say, what do you think of J-Lo and Bennifer? What don't you think she should have waited? I think I heard women say, don't you think she should have waited for 8 years?
Oh, what? Oh, no. Oh, God. No. Jennifer? No. She's a queen.
Thank you.
And she knows her word.
So why are we any different?
Thank you. Next. So we've come to the time where I always ask, my favorite question, my viewers love it, I'm going to ask you too. What is your takeaway for our viewers? A couple of points just to summarize this conversation.
I think the first and foremost thing is never give up on what you love to do.
I love that.
Always stepping into, really discover. And some people don't know this. Some people I don't know what my passion is. I don't know what my passion is.
Find it.
Find it and make
try
it
different
fun.
things.
Try different things.
Yeah.
Make it a fun process.
That's right.
So when you continue and never give up on the thing that you love to do.
I love it.
So that's the thing that women do, and they say, "Oh, I don't have
he
time
likes
for
to
a relationship."
ski.
Yeah. So
but do you like to ski?
Yeah. Or I don't want to be in a relationship because I don't want to give up.
That's right. That's true too.
That I want to do. Yeah. Well, you don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
You can have it all and have both.
We can have it all.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And on that note, that is all the time that we have for today. Ivy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We wish you continued success.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much. That's all the time that we have for today. Please make sure to like, share, to subscribe to our channel. And until next time.